Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Sean and I am obsessed with sailing. To start things off, let me introduce you to my boat. This is the other woman. She's a 1969 Cal 34, and as much as I love her, she may break me. She's named the other woman on account of my wife, actually, who named her that, since I spend all my time and money down here. Little background on that, I got obsessed with the idea a long time ago just from watching TV and movies, and became kind of an armchair commando of sorts with scrolling through YouTube. And so to date I've owned 7 sailboats now. The one I'm sitting in now is the largest I've ever had. 10 sailboats. I just bought 3 Sunfish a little while back, but the one I'm sitting on now is the largest I've ever owned. When I first got this boat, I was just completely elated. Like, I was on top of the world, nothing could keep me down. And I was texting pictures to my friends, to my mom. I took my dad down to see it at the marina before it was even ready to bring back here to my marina. There's very little in the world that compares to the high of getting, your first real sailboat. By that I mean bigger sailboat, something you could feasibly live on and take somewhere and go on adventures, stuff like that. And at the time when I was looking around for a boat, I was about to buy one that was in a lot better shape and basically on the verge of being ready to take on adventures. And I was, gonna get a loan for it, a small personal loan. I think they only wanted about $30,000 for the boat, but as I was calling around looking for a place to keep it, I spoke to a marina owner who had this boat, and said, "Why don't I come take a look at it? It might be a real steal." And so I did, and I went down and I looked at it and I asked some questions, and I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but he was asking a lot less money for it. I believe he was asking $6,000 for it, which I stupidly paid, but that's another story. But the agreement was, I'll take the boat, as is, as long as the diesel engine runs. All I saw beyond that was its potential. It's 34 feet long. It's got more than enough room in here for me to be mostly comfortable. I can't quite stand up straight in here, but I'm 6'6". Not many sailors are gonna be my height, but I can almost stand up straight. I saw a draft depth of 5 feet. So it was a good boat to take to the Bahamas one day. I'd been scrolling on Boat Trader forever, and as I'm sure you're aware, those boats are pretty much priced out of my league. Guys like me can't really just be throwing down 250 grand for a new sailboat. Well, a new to them sailboat. So all these factors, whatever, added up, and all I saw was myself at the helm, cruising through blue waters, and I was like, boom, done, deal, bought the boat. Now, there were some obvious red flags. One, the boat was only $6,000 for a 34-foot boat. So, it's a hole in the water you're going to be throwing money into, in true representation of the acronym boat, about another $1,000. Yeah, there are some other red flags too. Like, I saw it had some water in it at one point. So in the bottom here, the floor comes together a little bit like this, so it'll drain down into the bilge. Well, about this far above that line, there was like a mold line where, probably through condensation, the boat wasn't sinking. Once I got it all cleaned up and everything, I only actually have to run my bilge pump about every 2 to 4 weeks, and even then it only spits water for a few seconds. This boat is incredibly sealed up, but anyways, it should have been a big sign that it had been years and years of neglect. All I saw was blue waters, me at the helm, so again, bought the boat. The true nightmare of the entire thing has been the unrealized scope of this project. I figured a year, 18 months, tops, I'd have it ready to go, and a lot of that was just going to be making it pretty uncomfortable. Boy, was I wrong. I cannot stress enough the importance of trying to educate yourself as much as possible, not just about sailing, but about fixing stuff on boats, because shit's gonna break a lot. And if you're like me and you're looking at used boats, then there's gonna be a lot of stuff already broken. Everything on a boat costs more than you think it does, generally a lot more than you think it does. Which that definitely has contributed to the slower pace of things. I've probably got at least another 2 years before I actually get to take this boat to the Bahamas. I'm gonna do it, but I mean, I had thought a year, 18 months, and it's realistically gonna be 4 years, maybe even a little more, I don't know. Just educate yourself as much as you can. Make sure you're handy with tools. I certainly am. I was a contractor for a long time of many trades. But that being said, you know, whereas I'm used to shopping at Lowe's, you can't get a lot of the stuff for a boat at Lowe's. You can get some of it, sure. You know, they got a little bit of stainless steel fittings and some decent cuts of wood. But I mean, in general, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of buying from Lowe's. It's going to cost you more than that. I hadn't even begun to have any sort of thoughts like that yet. I was still hopped up on the excitement of buying the boat, and it did not take long for the true nightmare of this situation to start unfolding. You know, as promised, the diesel ran when I bought the boat, but it did not run for long. It did not even run long enough for me to get it a few miles upriver to the marina I'm in now. About 100 yards short of the marina entrance. Throttled back on it a little bit because, you know, if you're not bored coming into the marina, you're going too fast. So throttled back and was planning on just bringing it in nice and easy. Well, when I throttled it back, the engine just cut out. Could not get it restarted. Thankfully, the marina owner here had come with me on the boat to bring it up here. So we start, you know, drifting with the current a little bit, and he jumps on the phone, gets one of his buddies over here to come out real quick with a motorboat and give us a tow in and help me get into the slip. So that was awesome. You're not going to find customer service like that anywhere else. I mean, big props. Kingsland Marina is where it's at. I spent more time and money trying to get that thing going than I should have. I probably wasted $400 on, you know, tubing and fuel cleaner and lines and filters and all this other garbage. Really, the engine, it wasn't trash, but it needed a full rebuild, and I didn't want to drop like $3,000 or $4,000 to rebuild a almost 40-year-old engine. I think it was like a 1982 engine or something. It was not the original engine in this boat. It was a diesel universal 3-cylinder. But anyways, with me not knowing a whole lot about diesels and not wanting to spend the money to have it rebuilt and not having any idea of a schedule which it could be rebuilt on, because, you know, the marine mechanical services in my area are way backed up and backlogged, I decided to go with an electric motor for this boat. Now, full disclosure, I do like my electric setup. I'm glad I have it. I'm going to keep with it. But if I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, I would not go electric. Honestly, for what I've spent, I could almost put a brand new diesel in here, a little Yanmar or something. So for my electric motor setup and the reduction gear and the various bits and bobs that go with it, not counting batteries, I spent almost $4,000. Then I stupidly, for my first round of batteries, bought 8 big lead acid batteries, top shelf Duracells, but spent like $1,800 on batteries. They did not last 2 years. I recently upgraded them to Life Pop 4s. But even with being on special from Black Friday, that cost me another $2,000. So we're up to almost $8,000 just for the motor setup on this boat. That has really been a significant thing that's really broken me on this whole project. I didn't anticipate that. I thought the diesel was going to be okay. I didn't plan on spending another $8,000 for that. Because $8,000 would go a long ways towards other projects. I mean, hell, $8,000 right now probably do 75%, 50% of the stuff I need to do to this boat before I take it to the Bahamas. And so, engine aside, there's still a lot of other stuff I've sunken money into on this boat already. I've had to redo a lot of the electrical system, replaced both house batteries, redid a lot of the plumbing system. Obviously the engine swap was a big project. things to make it more comfortable too. You know, got a grill, put a swim ladder on, mounted a kicker plate for an outboard just as a backup to the electrical. Bought a big fuck off heavy anchor, like a 35-pound Mantis anchor. I mean, and on this boat with that big an anchor, I sleep pretty well. Still set an anchor alarm, but I sleep pretty well. But I mean, it really is just a hole in the water you throw money into, and I did not anticipate how much I would be spending to get this boat to a point where I can really take on my dream of setting out on an adventure. You know, adventure priority one being getting to the Bahamas and back. Emotional toll of kind of the ups and downs of one thing breaking after another and one big ticket item after another has really been pretty extreme. I've definitely indebted myself a little bit, but not too much. I definitely blew through all of my boat savings. I realized a few months back that if I had actually not bought this boat and just kept on my saving strategy and investments that I had going for my boat plan, then by next spring I would have been able to afford the down payment on a brand new boat to put in charter service till my kids finish high school. On the flip side of that, I've had some incredible times on the boat. A little over a year ago, I got to take it down to the bay and sail around for a while and back up river. That was, you know, a multi-day great adventure, just solo, me learning about my boat on my own. Had tons of awesome days with, you know, the wife and kids, taking them out on the boat, family, friends, just going swimming and stuff and having fun. Met so many cool people down here at the marina. I mean, there's definitely a lot of good that goes with it too. And so with those extremes, I mean, you're just kind of on a roller coaster, like emotionally all the time. At least I am, because I'm so attached to this dream of wanting to take my own boat to the Bahamas. So for me, it's been pretty extreme. You know, I've almost sold the boat a couple of times. You almost need some Xanax before you buy a boat. Like, just go ahead and talk to your doctor. So, you know, lots of lessons learned. I've learned more about boats in the almost 2 years I've owned this boat than I had in all the years of playing with those smaller sailboats and watching YouTube and reading books. I wouldn't say necessarily to try to learn as much as you can before you buy a boat. Just go ahead and buy the boat, honestly, because you're gonna learn so much more on that boat than you will in any classroom, video, book, whatever. Just, you know, do it with a grain of salt. Be cautious, you know. Don't hurt yourself, don't sink your boat, don't hurt anyone else. So beyond that, you know, get your boat, learn your stuff. Moving forward, I'm still happy that I have the boat. In fact, I'm still very happy that I have the boat. I love the other woman. There's a reason I spend so much time and money on her, and that's because I love the boat. Do I regret my decision to go electric? Yes. Am I gonna change course on that? No. I've come too far, basically. I've got $8,000 into the system now. It's running smoothly again. I've got the nice batteries that are gonna last a while. I'd actually love to double the size of that battery bank and add solar. Solar is gonna be a must anyways if I want to travel with the boat. You know, I'll still keep plugging away. I've got some bigger projects, well, a bigger project planned for the spring, followed by a medium project. Haven't really let the cat out of the bag on that stuff yet. That is available to my patrons. I'd love it if you guys would come check me out there, especially if you found this content helpful. You know, you might be surprised at what else we come across together. I do realistically have probably 2 more years before the boat will be ready to take to the Bahamas, maybe even a little more. Again, a lot of that is going to depend on finances because I'm kind of tight right now, not gonna lie. You know, I'm not gonna go into why, but I'm blessed enough to have this boat and a home, and my family is fed, so, you know, not complaining, just it's gonna take me a while. So this has been my biggest boat building mistake and how I'm fixing it. You know, just to kind of recap, biggest boat building mistake, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I don't know if you can know what you're getting into until you jump off the deep end, but I had no idea what I was getting into, both financially and from a knowledge perspective. And again, how I'm fixing it? Well, I've adjusted my schedule to a more reasonable timeline, and I'm staying persistent. I'm keeping my nose to the grindstone, and I'm working through it. This boat's gonna take me to the Bahamas one day. Hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel and be with me when I do make it to the Bahamas. I'd love to share my experience with all of you. And if you found this video helpful, I really hope you'll take a second to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. My videos are really made possible by all of you guys. So thanks so much for watching. Can't wait to see you out there on the water.